In studio is a young lady named Mekisha Creal. She is an assistant DA with the Caddo Parish District Attorney's Office. And let me see if I got this right. You are the victim diversion coordinator, and basically of people who are involved in sex and human trafficking.
Yes.
And we're talking a little bit about the Li Nan Tian and Bing Bing Lee case.
Yes.
That was sex trafficking, human trafficking. You answered, I guess, one of the big questions in the last segment there. In this case, you said 4 or 5 females involved. And what I sort of picked up from talking to you both on and off the air is the hard thing about this case is you had to make a case basically with little or no help. You had to make a sex trafficking case with little or no help.
Yes.
Of the victims of the women who were being trafficked.
Yes.
How do you do that? And how did that pertain to this case? What did you do?
Well, the ADA, when I was speaking with her, who handled the case, she was telling me that many of the women who were found to be workers in that particular parlor had already left the state. When your only source of contact, your only background information for them is linked directly to the defendant, well, you can put your common sense together to know that they're never going to be found
okay,
again.
so correct me if I'm wrong here. I may be making a leap of logic, so set me straight if I'm wrong. So when I see that Li Nan Tian, who was basically a pimp, when I see that he only was sentenced to 18 months, does that have to do with how little evidence you were able to cull from the victims? Explain to me how an 18-month sentence in sex trafficking, is that the norm? Fill me in.
Well, you have to. It's not so much about the sex trafficking case, but you have to adjudicate the case just as you would any other felony. And so the things that come into play are any criminal history or the lack thereof, the availability of witnesses, whether or not there are other jurisdictions involved, and to what extent other jurisdictions are involved, and how much assistance you have from patrons.
In other words, it's not, wow, patrons too. So
yes.
Obviously you had a client list. I hadn't thought about that.
Yes, there were some individuals that were identified as patrons, and for obvious reasons, they invoke their right to remain silent because they are contributing to a criminal enterprise. And so that's another element that you have to deal with. So what kind of
pressure are you able to put on people in that instance? Are you able to at all? Are you
well, I mean, we all have rights under the Constitution, and so if someone wants to invoke their right to remain silent for fear of criminal prosecution, that's their prerogative.
In Mr. Tian's case, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months.
Yes.
Was this a plea bargain?
It was an agreed sentence between the state and the defense attorney.
So yeah, kinda. I'm not trying to split legal hairs. I don't know anything about this. So is usually 18 months? Was he convicted of sex trafficking, of human trafficking?
Yes. He was convicted of human trafficking, but one of the beautiful things about the statute in Louisiana is that it encompasses a lot of different types of behaviors. It's not just the snatch and grab or what we would think about when we watch modern TV. It's the facilitation, the providing of transportation. It's the providing of lodging and access and things of that nature. So our human trafficking statute is very, very broad. And so
would I be correct in assuming that 18 months, which to me and to a lot of people doesn't seem like a lot, and to you it may seem like, that creep got off easy too. But given what you have to work with, the reticence of witnesses, of people willing to testify, do you feel like you did pretty good?
I will say this. It kind of goes back to a saying that my grandmother used to say: a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. And if you can get the bad guy and you can stop that enterprise, I think that is better than nothing.